marketing is a test constantly. You're always having to adjust and make modifications, changes, learn lessons, and so forth. And if the only thing that somebody cares about is ROI, well, you'll miss out on a lot of the important details and insights that can lead to performance, to drawing demand, to creating visibility.
Today, we're going to be tackling a recent LinkedIn post gone viral by Sherahan Ross, fractional marketing leader at Digital Bricks Marketing. And shout out goes to our colleague Keely, who's the one that actually shared the original post with the three of us in the first place. But it's a topic that clearly struck a nerve with many marketers. The hot take being that revenue is not a marketing KPI. The posts go on to say that, while marketing can be a driver of revenue, its sole function is not to drive revenue. It's to drive demand. So this kind of more radical take on revenue as a marketing KPI sparked quite a debate in the comments section around what should we as marketers be focusing on and what really does define success for marketing teams. So y'all, I want you to give it to us straight here between the two of you. You both cover the full spectrum of all things marketing and BD. So Austin, let's start with you.
I love this. This is a great find and exactly the kind of topics that we want to cover in Pivotal Stories. What I can say is that there are a lot of marketers out there that agree with Sherahan's post. And actually, we have research that backs it up. In our most recent edition of the High Growth Study, we asked survey participants to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10 in how proficient they felt like their organization was in both capturing and then using marketing and business development data. And going into this research, I think we kind of suspected that this was going to be a challenge. That's why we wanted to measure it. But we totally did not comprehend the degree to which this would be a challenge. More or less, 3 out of 4 marketers told us that they would rate themselves as low proficiency. So under a 6, if we were rating on a scale of 1 to 10, under 6, 3 out of 4 said, yeah, we just don't have it. It's not in the bag. And we followed up with those people and we got all the usual answers like, we don't have time, our technology is old or it wasn't integrated properly. But there was a handful of people that were just like, yeah, it's not important. We just don't think that it's going to be valuable to measure marketing attribution, that it's just not as important. Now, I don't think that Sherahan was saying completely that it was unimportant. I think her perspective, like many marketers, is that, hey, as marketers, our job is not just to drive revenue for the company. It's to drive other things, like you mentioned, MB, demand, to draw awareness to our brand, to nurture clients. And there's, a bigger conversation there. But, when we have conversations with leadership, oftentimes we want to know about revenue. And I think a lot of marketers are, have their backs put up against the wall because I think a lot of them say like marketing attribution is so hard. Maybe it is a myth. So I'm curious, MB, what are your thoughts, and takeaways going into this?
Yeah, I think attribution is key, really. It's so important to really understand the role each of your channels play in the sales funnel so you can get a clear picture of not only what's working, but also what's not working. And, are you investing your energy, your budget into your time, into the strategies that are going to provide the best ROI? Attribution also alone, it doesn't tell you the full story either. And that's where one KPI we haven't really talked about yet is looking at client lifetime value to understand the total revenue that you can expect from a client over the entire duration of your relationship with them. Because when you can shift your mindset, and it really is a mindset shift from, looking at that immediate revenue that you're generating, client lifetime value encourages you to think about that full life cycle of the customer and how you can build those stronger, longer lasting relationships. In terms of what should marketing teams be focusing on, so back to the original question, it's really that attribution and that client lifetime value together. Neither stand alone. They're very interconnected, right? Attribution helping you to understand where to focus your marketing efforts, and then client lifetime value then helps you measure the true value of those efforts over time.
This is a fun topic for you and I, MB, especially, right? Being partners in a small business that sells marketing services. So I think we live on both sides of this issue every single day. As a business owner, I would love it if clients didn't really hold us accountable to things like direct ROI. we help many clients get these types of things done, but marketing is a test constantly. You're always having to adjust and make modifications, changes, learn lessons, and so forth. And if the only thing that somebody cares about is ROI, well, you'll miss out on a lot of the important details and insights that can lead to performance, to drawing demand, to creating visibility. I think one of the interesting things, especially for the three of us, when we talk about something like this, Austin runs Hinge's marketing, but he's a smart marketing expert who works with our clients, but he also runs Hinge's marketing. I typically lead most of our sales and business development efforts, and Mary Blanche started as a project manager back in the day and is now driving and leading our operational side of the house. So we really do kind of cover the entire business spectrum. Just kind of interesting to kind of hear how you guys have talked this through. But from the BD sales guy perspective, as somebody who listens constantly to folks saying, well, what can I expect? Right? What am I going to get from my marketing? What are those different elements? The first thing I do is I bring up an illustration that shows the various ways of which we can measure success. We talk about the marketing funnel, visibility at the top, engagement, drawing and nurturing, and developing demand in the middle, and then at the bottom, opportunity. So when we get that MQL, how many of them can turn into something that allows us to hopefully sell into them and so forth? But I gave that kind of marketing pitch. Now let's get to the business owner perspective. If our marketing isn't working, a year or two, those types of things go down the line, and you're not necessarily seeing the results of all this effort and expense, that's not acceptable either, right? So another great way of thinking of how to measure marketing success across the board is to pair leading and lagging indicators or KPIs together. So when I say leading indicator, I mean something that's designed to predict future outcomes, pipeline, for example. And lagging indicators, that's something along the lines of, hey, let's look and see what was our billable numbers the last 12 months. So that's a performance metric. But you can actually pair these two different things together. So an example of pairing would be marketing qualified leads, elements that have been driven by direct marketing efforts, and then revenue from new clients. So we're going to remove out the larger revenue picture of recurring revenue and so forth. Another could be something along the lines of, if we're trying to look more towards existing relationships, we could talk about clients' digital engagement. So how many of your clients are going to your webinars? How many of your clients are reading your emails? How many clients are completely willing to answer a survey you may potentially put out? Compare something like that to your retention rate. So your efforts designed to nurture and maintain your relationships. So a real good discussion here. I think Sharon, she obviously struck a nerve, and that's the best kind of content on LinkedIn, because who wants to read another boring post? And I think it's just a fun one for us to discuss as a team.